Hey folks, here are OS Reviews. You're watching our video review of the Conbrov HDV8. This is a full 1080p sports action camera, which I'm not sure if it's exactly the world's smallest video DV camera, although it is certainly very small. In terms of price, it's only 50 bucks online through Amazon.com, so it's also very affordable and comes included with a waterproof case, a silicone case, and many different mounting brackets that you would have to separately purchase with a GoPro and some other action cameras out there. So it's very affordable. In terms of specifications, it's again IP65 water splashing certified. You can install a micro SD card on there, although there isn't a built-in display. Its sound activated video recording is another feature on here, so if it has a 60 decibel or above sound that's been detected, it will automatically start recording, so you can use it for spying purposes. It comes with a lanyard, and the battery lasts for a rated 90 minutes, which is roughly accurate. It takes about 2 hours to fully charge. Taking a look at the box here, pretty simple presentation. On the back, you have some basic info about the unit and some basic purposes you can use it for, although the actual video quality isn't as strong as some of these images would suggest. It is pretty good, again, especially for the size. So in the box here we have all the accessories and the camera itself. We'll take a look at. This is a user manual that you will need to read because there are a few LED lights on here that tells you the various different modes, and you need to understand that before kind of using it, because if you just try to use it out of the box, it isn't super intuitive. Now, something I don't really love is because the manual here is printed in black and white, you can't really tell the colors of the lights apart, and there's actually multiple colors for the LED, which is just one basic flaw. But otherwise, there is some straps you get for attaching it to helmets. There's also access to various different mounts in the box. You have access to a charger, which is the simple USB universal end. There's also the mini USB port for charging. This is a standard connection that you can use with basically any other accessory that you have. And over here there is the aforementioned silicone case, which does a pretty good job protecting your investment. And there's also that aforementioned waterproof case if you do plan on taking it for a swim or for a day. Look at the design of the Mini DV next. It's incredibly small. So for a brief size comparison, I have the SJCam M10 Cube, which is already a very small DV action sports camera, but you can see the size comparison here. It's absolutely small, even next to an already small camera, which is pretty insane. There's also a digital MP3 player by Nextar. You can see it's smaller than that, and there's also a Misfit flash as far as watches are concerned for a brief comparison. So again, this is something extremely portable that you can wear around your neck and no one really notices that it's there. It's not as small as some spy pen cameras I've seen where you have this camera on top of a ballpoint pen, but at the same time the quality here should be better because it is supposedly meant for action enthusiasts out there and for sports enthusiasts, whereas the spy recording pen is basically just for stealth recording. On the side of the camera, we have access to the micro SD card slot, which supports up to 32 gigabytes. There's also a reset pen. There's also a mode key to cycle through the various modes between taking images, pictures, sound recording, and so on and so forth. On the very top, you have access to the LED indicators. There is a stop/record key for manual recording, and the side also features a power on-off switch. The buttons are a little bit small for my taste. They're also a little bit plasticky, but overall it functions and they are very tactile. Now, the construction quality here is made entirely out of plastic, so it's very lightweight. However, it is a huge fingerprint magnet, and there's a slight amount of creaking along the edges, although at only 50 bucks, it's not the biggest deal in the world. The battery here isn't user removable, so that's one con. However, overall the design is pretty clean. The back features a lanyard strap, and on the bottom there is the mini USB port for charging and syncing. And during charging, there will be a yellow LED on the very top that's going to flash, and it will automatically turn off once charging has been completed. Taking a quick look at how the Mini DV looks once it's been placed in a waterproof case, I'm going to put it in here, and this seal needs to be fully closed off. The back needs to be snapped into place, and afterwards you're basically ready to go. There's also a key on the very top which you can still press to initiate the record/stop key while the device is in there, but you don't have access to the power key, so you need to turn the camera on beforehand, and there's also no access to the mode selection key, so you need to control that beforehand. But otherwise, it's a pretty rugged case that will protect your device nicely, and also the lens from scratching. It still remains pretty portable, and on the bottom there's access to a tripod mount, so you can place it onto a tripod for recording video as well, which is something we don't tend to see a lot of on these waterproof cases. So overall, it presents a pretty nice design for a extra that's included in the box. So going over some of the modes that you get from the LED first, if you tap on the power key for a few seconds, it's actually going to start flashing red and blue, and after a few seconds this is going to stabilize, and that means that the camera is now ready to record video. You do need to have a micro SD card inserted for video to be recorded, and you can then tap on the mode keys to cycle through the functions such as taking images. It's going to max out at around 3 megapixels or so, so the image quality is definitely not great. It's also not a autofocus camera, so the main emphasis here here is going to be on video recording rather than taking images. And afterwards, you can finish taking video. You can tap on the top key, the stop key, for a few seconds, and the video will stop. And there's going to be another flash. Blue LED will now flash. And once it stabilizes, you can start recording video again. So it's pretty simple once you get the gist of it, but there is a bit of a learning curve that you need to first get through and read the manual to find out more information. To get into the sound recorded mode, you'd press on the mode key again, and it's going to automatically record video, and then you can tap on stop to stop that. And there's a fourth mode, which is the motion detection mode. So once it detects any motion, it's going to start recording it. So you can use it for maybe in your car to detect any emergencies for thieves, and that works pretty nicely as well. It's also going to automatically cycle through the video, so it's going to erase any content that was there before when the memory card is full, and it's going to continuously cycle until you really need it, and then you can stop the camera. So it's pretty intuitive and easy to use. Battery life at around 90 minutes or so. In our lab, we actually only got about 70 minutes in terms of testing of extensive usage. We got a little bit longer if you were cycling through taking images as well as recording video, and we got around 80 minutes or so, but battery life is not the longest we've seen, although for this size it's still pretty impressive. To check out a brief sample footage, we're going to play back a video clip we recorded outdoors. Clip image quality is pretty decent, and the frame rates are also pretty smooth. One limitation is, of course, you can't actually see what you're recording, so even though there is a rather wide field of angle between what the lens sees and what's actually being recorded, you can't tell if you're actually getting something into the frame or not. You can only kind of estimate. With that being said, you can see that the image quality is good, the saturation is nice, and the color accuracy is also relatively on point. There's also a timestamp that you can add to your videos if you want to go through the settings for that. So at the end of the day, the Mini DV camera by Conbrov is a decent value for the money. It's $50, and it certainly is one of the smallest digital DV cameras we've seen. With that being said, it comes down to whether or not you really need a tiny DV camera. If the answer is yes, this one certainly has many different purposes and applications. You can record lectures, video notes for business meetings. You can also use it for sports, and the, again, resolution of the video is quite nice. However, if you can use something a bit larger, I think it'd be a bit more practical, since there is a display on the back and performance could be a bit better as well. And something like the SJCam M10 can be purchased for pretty cheap if you are able to look online and also maybe buy one secondhand. So again, the choice really is yours. But at the end of the day, we are fans of the design and the performance. To check out more details about this unit, be sure to read our full RIN review, but this has been our video. Thanks for watching. Here are OS reviews.